Hello, my name's Bob Willis. Now, solder shorts on wave soldering and selective soldering can occur. They can occur on through-hole components, and they can also occur on surface mount parts. Now, let's assume that the design is correct. So we've done everything to optimize good design for surface mount or through-hole soldering. The reason that we can get shorts that are present is that the solder hasn't separated from multiple pins on the board, hasn't separated during the soldering process. Now, some of the reasons that shorts can occur is the solder quality or contamination within the solder can affect the drainage characteristics. So if the processed parameters haven't changed, then perhaps the solder itself has changed over time. So quality control checks, which we would normally do to look for contaminants which might affect drainage characteristics. Now, flux. We hopefully all monitor the amount of flux we apply to the printed circuit board and the preheat of the board prior to going into the solder. Now, if we have a variability in the amount of flux which is applied to the bottom side of the printed circuit board, that may affect the drainage characteristics during the soldering operation. And that then would lead to poor drainage, so not enough solder draining off of the terminations to eliminate the necessity or eliminate the possibility of solder shorts. If we have too much preheat, we can actually affect the flux's characteristics. The flux may deteriorate. It may not allow the solder to drain as readily as it would have done if the process parameters were right to start off with. So we can actually have too much flux, but that doesn't necessarily relate to shorts. But too little flux or not enough activation of that flux or overactivation of that flux can affect drainage. Now, boards should always be held fairly rigidly. They should not be allowed to flex, and they should not be allowed to move as the board goes through the wave solder process and separates from the wave. If the board moves in the pallet, or the pallet moves, or the board actually flexes while it's traveling through the wave, that's going to be an inconsistent process and potentially cause solder shorts because the solder is not draining evenly as it separates from the wave. Now, in terms of setup, the wave should be stable, but it should be moving at the same speed as the board as it exits the wave, or slightly faster than, just to promote that energy which is drawing the solder away from those terminations. Now, when you're analysing wave soldering faults, there is no magical way of doing it. It's using your eyes, watching as much as you can. And I've used video photography over the years to look at how solder drains away from terminations to understand how I can improve the process, because it's very difficult if you can't actually see what's happening in a process. So those are just some of the things to consider when you're looking at solder shorts, and it's exactly the same with selective soldering. But again, we've got, fortunately, more parameters, more process variables we can actually change, and we are quite fortunate that with that on selective soldering. We don't have the same sort of parameters and processes that we can change on wave soldering. But the key thing is getting those design process parameters right to start off with, and when you're doing your prototype builds, keep an accurate record of shorts, opens, and the process parameters that you're going to be using to get the best possible results.